Exclusive contract with Feilu Novel Network Novel. Food. Sign in with the Gluttonous Bloodline. Stunned Sumu traveled to the world of food captives, and at the beginning, he was bound to a check.in system. As long as he checked in, he could become stronger. Congratulations to the host for signing in at Balong Island and obtaining the fierce beast's gluttonous essence. Congratulations to the host for signing in at the Cave Beach and obtaining the martial arts skill 8 Extremes Collapse. Didi, congratulations to the host for signing in at the Mammoth Plateau and obtaining the Spirit of Speech. Jun Yan. Congratulations to the host for checking in on the frozen continent and obtaining the soul-slaying blade. Flowing blade like fire. Sumu originally wanted to lie flat, but when he signed, he found himself invincible. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Binding the check.in system, for collection and freshness. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Food World, Balong Islands. Oh, I'm lying flat so well. You must come here to try your luck. At this moment, on the shore of the lake, a handsome young man couldn't help but sigh softly. The young man is called Sumu, he is a traveler. In my past life, I just slept for a while, and when I thought about it, I came into this world. When Sumu found himself in the world of food captivity, he was simply stunned. This is a food world. You should know that the captivating world of food is more difficult to survive than the Earth of Dragon Ball. The Earth of Dragon Ball, even if destroyed, can at least be resurrected by a divine dragon. But here, who knows, one day I'll be blown away by a terrifying creature. Everyone is done. In order to live for a longer period of time, Sumu decisively found the nose and eye pine, and after some operation, this scene is now. I looked at the loose nose and eyes on the side, and there was a strong man with blue hair. That strong man, Sumu naturally knew him, and that was Aru, one of the 4 heavenly kings. That's right, the scene in front of us is exactly where Komatsu asked Aru to capture the Kaila crocodile. And the purpose of Sumu's arrival was naturally to grab a wave of crocodile meat from the Kaila giant crocodile. You should know that in this world, everyone's body has food cells. Eating this top-notch ingredient can allow one's own cells to evolve and become stronger. This is the only way that Sumu can think of. Here we go. Just as Sumu sighed on his side, Ali on the other side looked at the lake with a solemn expression. Boom! In the next moment, a huge figure suddenly emerged from beneath the lake, and the subsequent waves stirred up a wave of surging waves. A huge sea snake with a level 5 capture suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Bang! Before Aru could make a move, the next moment, the huge body of the sea snake was heavily smashed down. With a muffled sound, the breath emitted by the sea snake made Sumu swallow his saliva at this moment. Damn it, it's truly a captivating world of food. The scent on this sea snake is truly terrifying. However, the level 5 sea snake had such a strong aura. When Sumu thought of the level 8 Kaila crocodile for a while, he couldn't help but retreat a bit. Just my small body, I'm afraid it might be affected and I'll just die on the spot. In this world of cuisine, the lives of food hunters are sometimes very worthless. Sumu wouldn't bet on Aru to save himself. As Sumu retreated on one side, there seemed to be a huge shadow surging beneath the lake on the other side. Boom! In an instant, the massive body of the sea snake was dragged directly into the lake. Here we go. Watching this scene, Sumu's heart suddenly became uneasy. Bomb! Bomb! A tremor-like sound emerged, followed by a massive red crocodile slowly crawling out from beneath the lake surface. A massive Kira crocodile that has lived for 300 years. Capture level up to level 8. Roar. A roar sounded, and suddenly a gust of wind blew up. The roaring waves shook Su Mu's body slightly. Feeling such an aura, Su Mu's heart suddenly started to curse. Damn it, is this capture level 8 so terrifying? In the world of food captivity, the capture level of ingredients corresponds to the required number of people. Capturing level 1 requires 10 fully armed soldiers to subdue. And the Kyla crocodile in front of me, with a capture level of 8, requires 80 fully armed personnel to be subdued. However, Su Mu is now very skeptical. 80 soldiers, can we really beat this thing? This thing, whether it's body shape, speed, or power. Under close proximity, it is estimated that half of 80 people will die instantly. You came just right. Unlike Su Mu's surprise at the moment, Ali nodded in satisfaction with the Kyla crocodile in front of him. Nowadays, his culinary cells precisely need such ingredients to improve. Shoo! Thinking in his heart, Baru's figure moved and rushed straight towards the Kyla crocodile. Bang! With a heavy punch, a powerful force erupted, and the massive body of the Kyla crocodile was directly pushed back by Aru's punch. Roar! However, this punch also completely angered the Kyla crocodile. Under a roar, he fired a steel tail and pulled straight at Aru. Bang! The steel tail was pulled out, and in an instant, Aru, who was caught off guard, was knocked upside down and flew away. Roar! The angry Kyla crocodile, with anger rising in its eyes, was clearly completely provoked by Aru. Then his gaze turned and he immediately fixed on Su Mu, who was hiding on the side. Bang! Bang! The heavy steps moved rapidly, and in an instant, Su Mu was stunned and numb. No, big brother, it's Ali who hit you. Why are you bumping into me? Are you a level 8 giant beast blind? For a moment, facing the Kyla crocodile with a capture level of 8, Su Mu was completely hopeless. Just my little arm, my little leg. Dealing with a capture level 1 is enough. If you capture someone at level 8, you must be dead set. Are you going to hang up soon after I've just started wearing more and more? Others travel through dragon-proud heaven, he travels through feeding crocodiles. Is there anything worse than him? Just as Su Mu was in despair and giving up resistance, the sound of prompts rang in his mind at the right time. Didi, the Zhutian check.in system has been successfully bound. Didi, the host has obtained novice check.in, do you want to sign in? Chapter 2. Sign into the Balong Islands, reward Gluttony Essence Blood. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Didi, the host has obtained novice check.in, do you want to sign in? In his mind, the sound of mechanical prompts rang out, and in an instant, Su Mu was stunned. System, is your own system here? At the beginning of his journey, Su Mu also called for the system. But there was no response at all. It is precisely because of this that he took the risk of rubbing against Aru and their team. But unexpectedly, at this critical moment, the system came. Sign in. Feeling the overwhelming aura, Su Mu didn't hesitate at all and just chose to sign in. The current Kyla crocodile is right in front of us. If you don't give awesome to your own system, you will hang up. At this moment, Sumu can only pray for his own system awesome. Congratulations to the host for signing in at the Balon Islands and obtaining the fierce beast's gluttonous essence. In my mind, the sound of prompts rings out at the right time. In an instant, Su Mu's expression was momentarily stunned. Fierce beast gluttonous essence and blood. Sigh, these are the 4 legendary ferocious beasts. Did you give this thing to your own system for the first check.in? Boom. Just as Su Mu was stunned, at this moment, a drop of crimson essence blood in Su Mu's body had already merged into his flesh and blood. In an instant, Su Mu's body seemed to ignite a large furnace. At this moment, all the cells around me were boiling. The crimson essence and blood turned into a vast ocean surging through Su Mu's limbs and acupoints. A majestic force constantly integrated into Su Mu's body. And just as Su Mu was merging his gluttonous essence and blood, the other side's nose and eyes relaxed, watching Su Mu fall into danger, but anxiously shouting. However, Komatsu, who is just an ordinary person, no matter how he shouts, he cannot attract the attention of the Kyra crocodile. On the other side, Aru, who was swept backwards by the steel tail, couldn't make it and could only give Su Mu a slightly sympathetic glance. As a food hunter, Aru knows very well. Either they eat delicious food, or they are eaten by delicious food. This is the fate of food hunters and food. Roar. Under the anger, the Kyla crocodile roared and opened its mouth, ready to bite Su Mu in one bite. Under the anger of the Kyla crocodile, no matter who hit him. Anyone here is going to die. Dong. Suddenly, a drum-like sound sounded. In an instant, an inexplicable aura began to permeate the surrounding void. The Kyla crocodile, with its mouth wide open, seemed to condense into the void at this moment. Is this? In an instant, Aalu, who was rushing to the other side, suddenly sensed something was wrong with the atmosphere around him. Under his gaze, the next moment, Aru was stunned. Dong! 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 The sound of beating hearts like war drums echoed from Su Mu's body. Under the sound of his heartbeat, Su Mu's whole body emitted a faint black aura. Seeing this scene, Aru's heart suddenly surged. The cells all over the body tightened instantly, as if sensing a threat of death. Staring intently at Su Mu, there was already a hint of fear in his eyes. At this moment, Su Mu's muscles were tense all over, and the dark aura behind him condensed a blurry and extremely virtual shadow. Roar. A roar that seemed to come from ancient ferocious beasts echoed back into the void, and the entire void was rippled layer by layer. For a moment, looking at the phantom emanating from behind Su Mu, there was also a roar. Alu on the side just felt his heart tighten. The red ghost emitting a terrifying aura inside, at this moment, was directly frightened by Su Mu's phantom. For the first time, Aru felt fear from the red ghost. How could it be? What kind of food demon is that? How could it make even his red ghosts feel scared? This situation has never happened even to the other four heavenly kings. At this moment, Aru was stunned. The red ghost in his body trembled, and in fear, he curled back directly into Ali's body. And just as Aru was frightened, the blurry figure behind Su Mu gradually converged. As the phantom dissipated, Su Mu's breath suddenly reached its peak at this moment. Now, it's my turn. Looking up slightly, Su Mu's gaze turned towards the Kyla crocodile in front of him at this moment. Subsequently, the strength all over the body condensed onto the right fist. Shoo! With just one movement of his figure, in the next moment, Su Mu punched the Kyla crocodile. Boom! With just one punch, in the next moment, an invisible gust of wind roared directly at the Kyla crocodile. The wildly weathered fist shadow directly hit the massive body of the Kyla crocodile. With just one punch, the Kyla crocodile suddenly felt as if it had been hit hard by a mountain, landing heavily on the ground. Comfortable. Looking at the fallen Kyla crocodile, Su Mu felt the majestic power inside his body and couldn't help but say happily in his mouth. At this moment, Su Mu could clearly feel the gluttonous essence and blood constantly beating in his heart. An appetite that could devour everything permeated Su Mu's body. The tremendous power of appetite transformed Su Mu into a completely new person at this moment. For a moment, watching the Kyla crocodile being beaten to death by Su Mu's punch in the field. The nose and eyes on the side were loose, just staring wide and completely dumbfounded. Even Aru, one of the four heavenly kings, couldn't help but swallow his saliva. The strength of the person in front of me is even higher than myself. What kind of existence is that food demon? Chapter 3. Duel with Aru. Seeking Collection, Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under the night, the Balong Islands, ZZZZ. At this moment, the Kyla crocodile has turned into grilled meat on the slate. The nose and eyes on the side were loose, and with the help of a stone slab, the meat of the Kyla crocodile was roasted to a golden and juicy taste, delicious and delicious. Su Mu, who had gained the essence of gluttony, looked at the grilled meat without any courtesy. Although I have gained gluttonous essence now, I want to control that power. Our own cells still need to evolve continuously. It's like a red ghost inside a roux, like a white ghost. Only when Su Mu's own cellular strength is strong enough can he mobilize the power of gluttony. Then I'll get started. He said to Nose and Eye Song and Aru, and in the next moment, Su Mu picked up the roasted Kyla crocodile meat and couldn't help but indulge in it. Gulu. As soon as the crocodile meat was eaten, it immediately turned into a pure energy and swam through Su Mu's body. Under the majestic energy, it was then fully absorbed by the cells inside Su Mu's body. This is the path to becoming stronger in the culinary world. The energy in every dish can promote the evolution of food cells. Nowadays, Su Mu combines gluttonous essence and blood, and the food cells in his body are particularly active, crazily absorbing various energies. Just as Su Mu was indulging in a feast, Alu beside him was also indulging in special food. At the same time, his gaze couldn't help but occasionally glance at Su Mu. The strength shown by Su Mu before, even he, was extremely fearful in his heart. This is a Kira crocodile with a capture level of up to level 8. With just one punch from the opponent, it's the end. This strength cannot be ignored by Aru. But at this moment, Su Mu was completely indifferent to such a gaze from Ali. The food world is much more dangerous than people think. In the world of food, every food hunter, while capturing ingredients, is also a type of food. So, if you want to survive, live better. Then only by constantly becoming stronger. Only by being strong enough can one ensure their own safety. At this moment, Su Mu only had such simple thoughts in his mind. In no time, half of the massive body of the Kyla crocodile was directly devoured by Su Mu. The speed of Nose and Eye loosening barbecue meat is already a bit behind the rhythm of Su Mu's devouring. Watching Su Mu devour the delicious food at such a fast pace, Alu beside him also restrained his mind and started eating big. 1 hour later, on the edge of the coast at this moment, comfortable. Su Mu patted his stomach and lay on the ground, feeling very comfortable. In the world of food before, a life of fear and fear. Now with the entrance of the Kyla crocodile, it suddenly turns into nothing. Now that he has a system, Su Mu also has a higher pursuit. The food world is so big, since Su Mu has come, naturally he has tasted all those delicacies. It can not only make oneself stronger, but also taste various delicious foods. It's simply sour and refreshing. Ah, no, you've all finished eating. What should I do with my task? Just as Su Mu was resting comfortably, his nose and eyes relaxed, and he looked at the empty skeleton of the Kyla crocodile, instantly stunned. He came here to catch the Kira crocodile and make delicious food. How can he go back and complete the task now that the food is gone? Isn't it just a Kyla crocodile? I'll treat you to even more delicious food in the future. Just a Kyla crocodile with a capture level of 8, Su Mu is currently weak and useful for his culinary skills. Otherwise, this level 8 existence wouldn't even count as cannon fodder. This is not Su Mu boasting. But the whole world of food, it's just too vast. The food capture level in the human world is only over 100 levels at most. This level, in the food industry, can't even be considered a minor. Moreover, in the later stages of the universe, there are often hundreds of thousands of terrifying beings appearing. Su Mu is still thinking of improving his strength in the future and going to the food and universe worlds to see. I have obtained the essence and blood of the fierce beast Gluttony. I think it shouldn't be weaker than Aru's white ghost. When the time comes to taste various delicious ingredients in the food industry, it's not a waste of this journey. In Su Mu's heart, he thought, and his eyes couldn't help but be filled with hope for the future. However, the only regret is that my gluttonous essence seems to have turned into a food demon-like existence. Today's self, only by becoming stronger can one grasp the power of the other party. Listening to Su Mu's words, his nose and eyes on the side relaxed, and he nodded helplessly. The current Kyla crocodile has already been eaten up. Even if he wants to say something, it's too late. And just after being full of wine and food, Alu beside him was staring at Su Mu in front of him. The latter's strength, however, piqued Aru's interest. At this moment, my gaze was fixed on Su Mu, and I couldn't help but emit a hint of brilliance. Su Mu, who was resting, felt the gaze on the side and couldn't help but turn around to look over. Looking at Aru's scorching eyes, Su Mu couldn't help but feel interested at this moment. As the four heavenly kings, the opponent's strength is naturally not weak. When Su Mu watched anime in his past life, he had a good impression of Ali. How about it? Do you want to have a sparring? Staring at Aru, Su Mu also wanted to know how strong he was at the moment. That would be even better. As Su Mu spoke up, Alu's eyes couldn't help but surge with a sense of war. He also wants to test the strength of the person in front of him. Chapter 4. The Broken Triple Nail Fist. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ha! A gentle breeze blew by, and at this moment on the coast, Su Mu and Aru were staring at each other. Looking at Aru, one of the four heavenly kings in front of him, Su Mu's body couldn't help but boil slightly with passion. In his past life, Su Mu never expected that there would still be a chance to compete with Aru in the anime he had watched. Then I'll take action first. On the other side, Alu, looking at Su Mu with his eyes, couldn't help but ignite his fighting spirit. As the words fell, the food demon Red Ghost Phantom in Aru's body suddenly emerged from behind. Under the appearance of the Crimson Ghost Phantom, Aru's momentum was also elevated to its peak. Looking at the other party's red ghost, Su Mu's expression couldn't help but become a bit serious in his eyes. Shoo! In the next moment, Alu's feet suddenly stepped on him, and his figure rushed towards Su Mu like a shell. Bang! With one punch, the invisible knife and fork are condensed into shape in the void. Obviously, from the beginning, Aru used all his strength. Well done. Looking at the arrival of the knife and fork, Su Mu also wanted to test his own strength at this moment. Shoo! A little bit below my feet, my body bounced straight away, and without hesitation, I shot towards the attack from Aru. Boom! In an instant, the muscles on Su Mu's arm burst into a gust of strong wind, colliding with the approaching knife and fork. The sound of a loud roar echoed in all directions, and a majestic shockwave swept away. Feeling the energy from the pavement, Su Mu's body remained motionless. Even though the shockwave swept across his body, it could not shake him at all. Comfortable. The constant force inside Su Mu's body made him feel indescribably strong at this moment. Especially during battles, the gluttonous essence and blood in one's heart seemed to be gradually merging into the flesh and blood. The pleasure of enhancing his strength made Su Mu quite enjoy this moment. Looking ahead, I saw Alu on the other side, adjusting his breath. What? Are the four legendary heavenly kings the only ones with such strength? Su Mu knows that the attack just now was definitely not the opponent's full strength. Under the stimulation of words at this moment, the figure of the red ghost behind Ali on the opposite side couldn't help but become more solid. The next blow, you must take it well. Watching Su Mu easily take on his attack, Aru's expression also became serious at this moment. As the words were spoken, the muscles on the right arm suddenly erupted, and a terrifying aura spread out towards all sides. Shoo! In an instant, Aru's figure rushed out quickly. With a clenched right fist, he hit Su Mu directly in front of him. A fierce gust of wind struck, and Su Mu didn't flinch at all as he watched the punch from Ali at this moment. Drink. Under the heavy drinking, the strength around the body also condensed onto the right fist. As Su Mu watched the incoming attack, he immediately welcomed him with a punch. 3 consecutive nail punches. Accompanied by Aru's loud shout, the next moment, Su Mu felt a powerful force exploding on his arm. Bang! 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 3 consecutive forces, continuously impacting. Feeling the impact of such power, Su Mu at this moment is not retreating but moving forward. Bang 1, taking a step forward, all the energy in my body was mobilized and converged towards my right fist. Break it. With a big gulp in his mouth, Su Mu's right fist flashed with a dim radiance, and then he suddenly punched out. Boom! In an instant, the majestic force caused the ground to sink, and countless smoke and dust filled the air. The raging shockwave swept across all directions, and the giant trees around were also blown off. Watching the battle on the side, my nose and eyes relaxed. Looking at such a scene, I was simply stunned. That guy named Su Mu is quite terrifying, isn't he? Surprisingly, he can fight against Aru, one of the 4 heavenly kings. Ha! Just as my nose and eyes were shocked, a gentle breeze blew and the smoke and dust gradually dissipated. At this moment, Su Mu stood resolutely in the field. On the other hand, Aolu appeared quite disheveled. Here, the 4 heavenly kings have lost. Watching this scene, my nose and eyes were stunned, and I couldn't help but murmur a sentence. In the battlefield at this moment, feeling the fluctuation of his internal breath, Su Mu couldn't help but glance at Aolu in front of him. Although I have come to the real world of food. But it seems that the strength bug of the 4 heavenly kings still exists. Aru's current strength is really weak. 5 consecutive nail punches should be the limit of strength. The 3 consecutive punches just now cannot pose a threat to him at all. It's hard for Su Mu to imagine that such strength can be compared to the Soundwave Demon King Zebula. Your strength is really strong. While Su Mu was pondering on his side, Alu on the other side also patted the dust on his body and couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. This is the first time he has been so suppressed by someone. Although it's not a life and death battle, Su Mu's strength has been recognized by Aru. Your strength is also good. Glancing at the slowly dissipating red ghost inside Aru's body, Su Mu's words were not false. Don't be fooled by Aru's weakness now, but there is a pervert like a white ghost in his body. Sumo felt that unless he awakened his gourmet demon Gluttony, he really couldn't beat the other party. Are there any readers who enjoy reading about the captivity of food and culture? Looking for some data, without data, it's really difficult to persevere. If you like to read, give me some data, flowers, reviews, monthly tickets, anything is fine. Thank you. Chapter 5. Go to the 8th ecological zone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dinosaur Lamian Noodles restaurant above the market town, boss, another bowl of dinosaur Lamian noodles. At this moment, Sumu said to the boss in the kitchen. The table in front of me was already filled with a pile of empty dishes. This. The nose and eyes on the side were loose. Watching this scene, I touched my dry little wallet and couldn't help but cry. Don't worry, I will pay you back soon. Patting his nose and relaxed shoulder, Sumu chuckled lightly and said. Coming out of the Balon Islands, Sumo was in this market town and had a big meal. At this moment, with the addition of delicious food, the cellular energy consumed in the battle has also recovered. It has to be said that in the world of cuisine, all kinds of delicacies are really delicious. Guest, here comes your Lamian noodles. Sumu just sighed that the boss on the other side came with Lamian noodles that was the size of a wash basin. Put down the Lamian noodles, and a fresh fragrance comes from the shop. Combined with the unique dinosaur meat inside, Sumu's appetite couldn't help but surge. After a while, outside the Lamian Noodles restaurant at this moment, Haru had just put down the captured delicacies and had not had time to find Sumu and Bai Yen Song when he was stopped by a group of men wearing suits. After a conversation, Baru also learned about the other person's identity. A member of the International Food Organization IGO. When he heard that the other party was coming to entrust him with a task, Baru completely ignored it. However, just as he was about to refuse, he saw that in the Lamian Noodles restaurant, Sumu came out slowly with a loose nose and eyes. "We have accepted your commission." The cheerful voice of words spoke out, and for a moment, the person in charge of Igo immediately turned his gaze to Sumu in front of him. The latter's appearance doesn't seem to be recorded in their Igo, it's very unfamiliar. And this time, what they want to capture is the rainbow fruit. The difficulty of capturing that thing is not low. Ordinary food hunters simply don't have enough strength. Standing in front of the person in charge of Igo, Baru looked at the skeptical expression in the other person's eyes. At this moment, he couldn't help but point to Sumu. "This guy's strength is not inferior to mine. I think he should be able to complete your task." Having had a fight with Sumu, Baru and Sumu can be said to be strangers without fighting. Although I don't know why Sumu took over Igo's mission here. But if the person in charge of Igo looks down on Sumu, it means he looks down on the strength of Aru. What? Listening to Alu talk about Sumu's strength, which is not inferior to him, the person in charge of Igo's expression suddenly changed. "You know, Aru is the 4 heavenly kings of food. A food hunter with far greater strength than most, definitely the person at the top of the pyramid. Now there is another person who can be on par with Aru. How could the person in charge of Igo not be shocked?" On the other side, the food anchor Tina, listening to Aru's words, suddenly had a brilliant moment in front of her. Not inferior to the existence of the 4 heavenly kings. If this is an interview, it would be big news. For a moment, various lenses were directly aimed at Sumu. A handsome face, now under the sunshine, has an extraordinary beauty. As a food anchor, Tina couldn't help but become obsessed with flowers. And Sumu here is looking at the person in charge of Igo in front of him. Sumu, who is familiar with the plot, naturally knows that the place he is going to next is the 8th ecological area called the courtyard. Rainbow fruit is a delicious delicacy that Sumu won't let go of. Since that's the case, let me be frank. This time's mission is to hope that you can help pick rainbow fruits. With Aru's guarantee, the person in charge of Igo quickly made a decisive decision. When the name rainbow fruit appeared, even the nearby Aru couldn't help but be surprised. This is a legendary fruit. Listening to the introduction of the Igo manager, Alu suddenly became interested. And Sumu, who had already known all of this, smiled even more at this moment. "Leave the task of rainbow fruit to us." With firm words, Sumu couldn't wait for the rainbow fruit. Looking at Aru, Sumu agreed and the person in charge of Igo immediately arranged for everyone. One day later, outside the 8th ecological zone of Igo, is this the 8th ecological zone? As soon as I got off the car, I looked at the towering wall in front of me and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise with a relaxed nose and eyes. Meanwhile, Sumu and Aru, listening to the sound of war drums in the 8th ecological zone, couldn't help but see excitement in their eyes. The guy in the 8th ecological zone clearly noticed their arrival. Looking at the wall beside him, Sumu naturally gave up the dirty and tiring work of opening the wall to Alu. Accompanied by a series of 3 nail punches, the ecological wall was suddenly torn open. "Let's go." Looking at the opening made by Aru, Sumu walked out ahead with his nose and eyes loose. In the 8th ecological zone, it seems particularly quiet at this moment. Along the way, not long after, everyone arrived at a hill. Bang! Bang! On the hill in front of us, a group of Dora Vajras are now beating their chests, their eyes red as they stare at Sumu, Aru, and others. Looking at the Dora King Kong scattered all over the mountains and fields, Sumu couldn't help but chuckle and look at Alu beside him. "What? Are you going to do it, or should I do it?" Chapter 6. The reproduction of the gluttonous phantom, where Dora Vajra is. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. IGO, 8th Ecological Zone, bang. 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 At this moment, in the vast field, with Alu's move, he immediately became one with a group of Dora Vajra. Because of the drool of Doro King Kong's minions before, Doro King Kong at this moment did not feel the breath of Aru Red Ghost. Is it really okay for him to go up alone? On the high ground beside him, his nose and eyes relaxed as he looked at Aru alone, facing a group of Dora Vajra alone. He couldn't help but ask with concern. Don't worry, it's just a group of little brats. It's just a group of Dora Vajra who have captured level 9. Alu, that guy, can easily handle it. Su Mu responded with a sentence and then silently watched from the side. System, open my property panel. By the way, Su Mu also checked his current strength. Shoo. As the words fell, in the next moment, a brilliant light flashed before Su Mu's eyes. Then a virtual projection appeared in front of Su Mu. Host. Su Mu location. Human realm food devil. Gluttony talent. Gluttony skill. None item. None cellular evolution. 120 to 1000 comprehensive strength. Level 21, corresponding to capture level. Su Mu looked at the slightly rudimentary attribute panel in front of him and couldn't help but smack his tongue. A drop of gluttonous essence not only gave Su Mu an incredibly powerful food demon. Similarly, Su Mu gained a talent skill, gluttony. Gluttony. Only those who possess the gluttonous bloodline can have it, which will result in 10 times more energy absorption and storage capacity. P.S. As the host's bloodline increases, the enhancement effect will correspondingly become stronger. Looking at the introduction of talent and skills, Su Mu actually understood the meaning of binge eating. It's just that I swallow these delicious foods myself, absorb their energy faster than the average person, and store more energy in my body than the average person. This kind of talent is also in line with the strength of the fierce beast Gluttony. Boom. Just as Su Mu was checking his attributes, the next moment, a loud noise suddenly came over. At this moment in the field, due to being besieged, Haru was caught off guard and was directly hammered to the ground by Doraemon. The closest duo of Doro Kong noticed the presence of Su Mu and Nose I Song, and flew towards them. Do you still want to take action on me? Looking at Dora Kong, who came with giant stones in his 4 hands, Su Mu couldn't help but say coldly at this moment. Shoo. The next moment, a little below my feet, Su Mu's figure suddenly exploded and disappeared. Bang. The figure, like a shell, came straight to Dora King Kong. With one punch, the massive body of Dora Vajra flew backwards like an inverted kite, hitting the ground heavily. The other Dora Kong has not yet reacted, and the next moment, Su Mu's attack will come again. On top of the head, under a heavy blow, Dora Vajra's body fell straight to the ground, life or death unknown. Alu, it seems that I still need to take action. With a movement of his figure, the next moment, Su Mu came to the side of Aru. Looking at the other person's slightly disheveled appearance at the moment, Su Mu couldn't help but chuckle lightly. Roar. Before Aru could speak, Dora Kong on the other side surrounded the two of them in groups. Under the roar of anger, Doro King Kong was ready to take action against the two of them. Boom. Just the next moment, the aura around Su Mu suddenly erupted. A dark aura emanated from Su Mu's body, followed by a blurry figure condensed behind him. Roar. A roar that seemed to come from ancient times suddenly echoed in the field. Bang. 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 In an instant, the phantom of the Su Mu food demon appeared, and the Doro King Kong present was immediately scared and knelt to the ground. Under Su Mu's gluttonous and ferocious beasts, the group of Doraemon seemed to have become small snacks in their mouths. A sense of oppression from the soul fills their hearts with fear. Even Aru, who was standing next to Su Mu, couldn't help but feel secretly shocked when he saw the Taotai shadow again. Su Mu, this guy, obviously has not yet mastered the power of the food demon. But even so, a phantom is even more terrifying than his red ghost. The other party, this food demon, is also too powerful. Aru was amazed in his heart, and then he saw Su Mu's figure, walking step by step towards the hill. Along the way, Dora Vajra, at this moment, knelt down on the ground like a vassal, trembling with fear. Even the Doraemon king, at this moment, is still crawling on the ground, afraid to make any movements. The smell of gluttony almost made them gasp for breath. With Aru and his nose and eyes relaxed, he came all the way to the hill. At this moment, Su Mu was able to witness the legendary rainbow fruit with his own eyes. Bang! Without hesitation, Su Mu turned his hand into a blade and directly picked most of the rainbow fruits. No, Su Mu, we can't use so much, can we? Watching Su Mu pick 4, Aalu couldn't help but wonder. This is the legendary rainbow fruit with extremely high sweetness. They can handle up to 2 out of 3. Can you use it to pick 4 directly? What do you know? I'll make this a drink, can't I drink it slowly in the future? He pouted at Ollie, his nose and eyes relaxed on the side. Listening to such words, he couldn't help but be stunned. Using rainbow fruits as daily drinks, it's you. It's simply too luxurious. Chapter 7. Tasting rainbow jelly, delicious and explosive. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Within a 5-star hotel, TSK, Komatsu's cooking skills are really good. At this moment, on either side of a large dining table that was several tens of meters long, Su Mu and Aalu were feasting on it, leaving only a pile of empty plates left. Tasting the various delicious dishes made by Nose Nai Pine, Su Mu had to say that the other person's cooking skills were really good. At least the taste of these delicacies satisfies Su Mu very much. Undoubtedly, it is the existence of strong food luck in the world of cuisine. Here we go. Just as Su Mu sighed on his side, his nose and eyes on the other side relaxed. Pushing the dining cart, he slowly walked over. Above the dining car, it is undoubtedly the staple food of this time. Smelling the faint fragrance emanating from his nose, Su Mu's appetite couldn't help but surge. 2 of you, your delicious food has arrived. 2 sets of pre-made rainbow jelly were placed in front of Sumo and Aru. For a moment, as the lid was lifted, the rainbow jelly on the plate burst into a colorful glow. Under the radiance flowing, the crystal clear and elastic jelly adds a tempting aroma. Gulu. Looking at such delicious food, even Su Mu couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Picking up the spoon on the side, Su Mu immediately dug a little and stuffed it into his mouth. Boom! In an instant, the jelly melted upon entry, with an indescribable sweetness and deliciousness that exploded directly in Su Mu's mouth. That delicious and comfortable feeling directly stimulates Su Mu's entire body. The energy contained in rainbow jelly flows even more through the 100 acupoints of the limbs. At this moment, Su Mu felt as if he was in a warm ocean, with the cells in his body sprinting freely. This kind of taste exceeds any ingredient Su Mu has ever eaten in his past life. It can be said to be extremely delicious. Woo-woo. Meanwhile, Alu beside him was moved to tears by the delicious rainbow jelly. Under the extreme taste, even Aru couldn't resist that impulse. I have decided, I want to add this to my life menu. With the taste of rainbow jelly, Aru immediately decided to add rainbow jelly to his life menu. In the world of food, every food hunter usually has their own life menu. The stronger the food hunter, the more rare and terrifying the dishes on the menu of life will become. For example, Dian Dian de Shijiro, and Yi Long's life menu. Most of them come from the food industry. The food creatures inside have terrifying capture levels. Watching Alu add rainbow jelly to his life menu, Su Mu didn't compete with him either. Since he came to this world, Su Mu naturally would also create his own life menu. Although this rainbow jelly is good, Sumu has a higher pursuit. Unlike sharing rainbow jelly with Aru, Sumu is now fully enjoying the rainbow jelly in front of him. Nowadays, Sumu wants cell evolution, but it requires a lot of energy. Sumu won't waste any energy in this rainbow jelly. After a while, as the entire rainbow jelly entered, Sumu finally patted his stomach with satisfaction. Comfortable, truly a legendary delicacy. With a sigh in his mouth, Sumu sat down on the nearby sofa. This rainbow fruit was specially cultivated by Igo. Capture level 12, which can be said to be a height that most food hunters find difficult to reach for life. After all, not everyone can have the strength of Sumu and Aru. Here, Komatsu, let's treat this rainbow fruit as a debt repayment. After tasting it, Sumu glanced at his nose and eyes, and directly threw a rainbow fruit over. This time, Sumu picked a total of 4 rainbow fruits. He just ate 2, and now he also gave a loose nose and eye. The remaining one was used to make a drink from loose nose and eye, but it was just right. Watching Sumu casually throw over the rainbow fruits worth hundreds of millions, when his nose and eyes relaxed, he hurriedly picked them up. Before he could refuse, he heard Sumu's request to make a drink. Almost without much hesitation, the loose nose and eyes just agreed. After solving the rainbow drink issue, Alu beside him couldn't help but look at Sumu. Next, where are you going? After experiencing the request of Kyla crocodile and rainbow fruit, Aru can be said to have a more harmonious relationship with Sumu. At this moment, when asked, Aru also extended an invitation to Sumu. If it's okay, should we go catch the pufferfish whale together? Listening to the mention of pufferfish whales by Ali, Sumu naturally became very interested. However, this time Sumu was not prepared to set off with Aru. The gluttony of gluttony requires Sumu to constantly devour various powerful creatures in order to become stronger. Just a pufferfish whale can't satisfy Sumu's appetite. So, this time Sumu decided to eat all the way towards the location of the pufferfish whale. Listening to Sumu's plan, Aru didn't say anything more. After chatting with Aru for a few moments, Sumu slowly got up and left the hotel first. Alu, then I'll see you at the cave beach. Looking at Sumu's departure, at this moment, Alu's expression couldn't help but become serious. What he said this time, he must also be one step ahead of Sumu. Sumu, just wait to see me on the beach in the cave. Chapter 8. Capture the Swordtooth tiger and head to the Cave of Death. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 3 days later, on the train, does Sumu really not set off with us? At this moment, sitting on the train with a loose nose and eyes, looking at the absence of Sumu's figure, I couldn't help but ask in confusion. After experiencing 2 trials together, Nose and Isong's attitude towards Sumu is quite good. He has already set off first. Looking at the loose nose and eyes in front of him, Aru responded directly. Since bidding farewell at the hotel last time, Sumu was the first to depart that night. It was also because of Sumu's actions that he was so eager to set off with his nose and eyes loose. He didn't forget the agreement he made with Sumu at the hotel. Oh, is that so? Upon hearing the news that Sumu had already set off, his nose and eyes relaxed with a sudden expression. And just as Nasal Isong and Aru were doing this on the other side, in a delicious food mountain forest. Boom! With a loud bang, in the next moment, a sword-toothed tiger several meters high and over 10 meters long fell heavily from mid-air. The heavy body smashed down, and the ground suddenly shook and the smoke and dust filled the air. Shoo! In mid-air, a figure suddenly fell and stepped directly on the body of the saber-toothed tiger. I almost got away with you, this guy. The figure is not someone else, it is Sumu who sets out first. At this moment, Sumu couldn't help but smile as he looked at the saber-toothed tiger with no vitality under his feet. Capture level 15, colorful sword-toothed tiger. Shoo, 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 shoo. With a hand-turned knife, Sumu simply segmented the saber-toothed tiger in front of him. Then, taking out the large barbecue rack from the storage space of the system, Sumu began cooking. After a while, in the mountains and forests, sprinkle some cumin, the taste should be good. A large piece of sword-toothed tiger barbecue was stuffed into Sumu's mouth. The mouthful of sword-toothed tiger meat immediately transformed into pure energy, which was fully absorbed by the cells in Sumu's body. In no time, the huge body of the saber-toothed tiger was just half eaten by Sumu. Not bad, this saber-toothed tiger has quite a lot of energy. Casually putting the remaining half of the ingredients into the storage space, Sumu took out a bottle of rainbow juice and drank it. Shoo! With a flash of brilliance, Sumu's attribute panel also reappeared in front of us. Host. Sumu location. Human realm food devil. Gluttony talent. Gluttony skill. None item. Rainbow juice, swordtooth tiger roast meat cellular evolution. 520/1000 comprehensive strength. Level 25, corresponding to capture level. Looking at the level of cell evolution in his body, Sumu nodded in satisfaction. In 3 days, Sumu set off all the way towards the Cave of Death. Along the way, Sumu never let go of any of these other higher level ingredients. With the support of a large amount of delicious food, Sumu's strength has also become stronger than before. Although the strength level has only been improved by 4 levels, Sumu is also quite satisfied. After all, the ingredients captured by Sumu are all below level 20. The cell energy that can be increased is limited. Sumu is already quite satisfied with this. "Ah Lu, that guy should probably set off now," murmured a sentence in his mouth, and at this moment, Sumu also began to ponder. During this period, the highest level of food captured by Sumu is the saber-toothed tiger just now. Continuing to wear down the road, Sumu felt that his strength would not have greatly improved either. In that case, Sumu also decided not to waste time anymore. It's time to set off for the cave beach. Thinking of the death cave in the original drama, Sumu couldn't help but become interested. In addition to the pufferfish whale, there is also a demon snake with a capture level of 21 inside. That thing must contain much higher energy than this saber-toothed tiger. Thinking of this, Sumu couldn't help but lick his lips, and his figure moved and disappeared into place. 5 days later, outside the Cave of Death, the one in front of me is the Death Cave. Only by passing through this 10-kilometer cave can one reach the beach. That's where the pufferfish whale lays eggs. At this moment, the food anchor Tina is outside the cave, giving a commentary. A large number of food hunters gathered outside the cave at this moment. In order to taste the legendary pufferfish whale, countless food hunters, even if they know the danger of caves, continue to go one after another. And at this moment in the cave, Alu and Nose and Isong stood here. It seems that the people you are waiting for have not arrived. The man with a headscarf next to Aru looked around at Aru and found nothing, so he couldn't help but whisper. The man with a headscarf is none other than Coco, one of the 4 heavenly kings of food. The cuisine of pufferfish whales can be described as extremely difficult. Relying solely on nose and eye relaxation, Aru is worried that he may not handle it well. So, we specifically searched for Coco and went together. Well, it seems we can only set off first. Looking around again, Aru still couldn't find any trace of Sumu. He couldn't help but shake his head and whispered softly. Seeing Alu speak so much, Coco and Byansong didn't say much either. A group of 3 stepped into the cave and headed towards the depths of the cave. And outside the cave at this moment, no, are you really going in? The big brother carrying the camera looked at Tina in front of him. In order to capture the pufferfish whale, she actually had to personally go deep into the cave. This job is too dangerous. Don't worry, there are food hunters here, there won't be any danger. Glancing around, Tina felt that with the presence of the strongest passers-by such as Wan Zongkai, there shouldn't be any danger. However, not long after everyone entered, they were just scared by a large group of spiders. Run quickly. Accompanied by a cry of surprise, everyone was preparing to leave towards the outside of the cave. But suddenly, they heard a sound of footsteps coming from outside the cave. The cave spider that was originally rushing towards them seemed to be afraid of something, and it just scared away. This scene made everyone present change their expressions slightly. And as the sound of footsteps spread, a voice of words also echoed. "Ha, finally caught up." Chapter 9. Capture Level 21, Demon Snake. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ha, finally caught up. A crisp sound spreads through the cave. For a moment, everyone's gaze came and they saw a handsome figure slowly walking over. "It's you." Looking at Sumu walking, the food anchor Tina beside her suddenly exclaimed in surprise. Last time Igo came to search for Aru, Tina had a chance encounter with Sumu. Although I didn't interview Sumu last time and didn't see Sumu take action. But Tina remembers that even Aru, one of the 4 heavenly kings of food, said Sumu's strength was no less than his. "I didn't expect to meet you here now." Hiss, hiss. Just as everyone was surprised by Sumu's arrival. On the other side, the cave spider felt the scent emanating from Sumu's body, but couldn't help but retreat in fear. For a moment, such a scene appeared in Tina's eyes, instantly making her eyes shine. Sure enough, this man's strength is definitely not inferior to the 4 heavenly kings of food. Glancing at Sumu, as he only arrived, these cave spiders were scared away, and Tina couldn't help but become obsessed with flowers again. The opponent's strength, coupled with their handsome face. It's even more attractive than the 4 heavenly kings of Aru. Just as food anchor Tina was being obsessed with flowers, Sumu, who arrived, also glanced at everyone present. The strongest passerby, Wang Zongkai. And this food anchor Tina. Looking at the gleam in Tina's eyes, Sumu knew that he had gained a little fangirl. "It's very dangerous here, you better be careful." I reminded Zongkai and Tina that it is basically impossible for them to go deep into the cave and reach the cave beach based on their strength. After all, not to mention the demon snake. Even those ordinary spiders are not something the 2 of them can solve. After experiencing the previous wave, Zongkai and others couldn't help but shrink back a bit at this moment. Only food anchor Tina, at this moment, couldn't help but come over. "Sumu, I have always wanted to interview you, I don't know if there's a chance this time." With a dazzling gaze, Sumu was staring at Sumu tightly at this moment. Faced with such a request from the other party, Sumu did not refuse either. "Let's go." At Tina, Sumu said, the next moment, Sumu will lead her towards the depths of the cave. With Sumu's current strength, this time he came here for the devil's snake and the pufferfish whale. Bringing an extra person is not a burden for Sumu. Listening to the words spoken by Sumu, Tina immediately became excited and followed behind Sumu with her camera in hand. The environment inside the cave is dark, and the ground is uneven, posing various dangers. Tina had to lean tightly against Sumu's side for safety. At the arm, the contact with Sumu's body made Tina's face blush slightly. Bang! Just as Tina was lost in thought, Sumu in front of her couldn't help but stop his pace. "What's wrong?" Roar! Before she could finish speaking, Tina was dumbfounded in the next moment. In the cave ahead, a huge 3-eyed snake roared at the 2 of them. This is a demon snake with a capture level of up to 21. As a food anchor, Tina immediately recognized the other person's identity. At the same time, the other party is also the most terrifying existence in this cave. "Run away, I didn't expect to meet you so soon." Just as Tina was screaming and preparing to let Sumu escape, Sumu in front of him took a step forward and arrived in front of the demon snake. In Tina's eyes, the terrifying demon snake, in Sumu's eyes, is a delicious feast. Boom! Behind Su Mu, a dark aura resurfaced, and then the gluttonous phantom also stood tall in the void. With the appearance of the Su Mu food demon, the atmosphere in the venue suddenly became solemn. At this moment, even the demon snake stared solemnly at Su Mu in front of him. "You step back first, I need to take care of him." Without looking back, Tina said to Tina in the back, listening to Su Mu's 1.1 fight against the demon snake. Tina looked worried and obediently retreated back. Looking at Su Mu's back, Tina stepped back and also aimed the camera at Su Mu. "This is a big battle for the people I like. Whatever she says, she also needs to record it." As Tina retreated, Su Mu's gaze also focused intently on the demon snake in front of him. Although the system's strength rating is higher than that of the demon snake. But in actual combat, any accident is possible. Su Mu won't be careless at all. "Come on, let me see your strength. Are you qualified to become my food?" Su Mu's provocative words echoed throughout the entire cave. Looking at the human in front of me, so provocative, the demon snake immediately became angry. Roar. Under the roar, the massive body moved rapidly at this moment. Feeling the incoming breath, Su Mu did not flinch at all. Bang! With just one step, the heavy force caused the ground to collapse and fall away. Then Su Mu's figure, like a shell, went towards the demon snake. Boom! Chapter 10. Singles against the demon snake. Find point data. You are listening at novel full.audio. Boom! With a heavy bang, in the next moment, Su Mu's punch hit directly on the tentacles of the demon snake. The raging power erupted instantly at the sound of the tentacles of the demon serpent. The overflowing power makes the tentacles of the demon serpent cut through the waist. Roar! Under the intense pain, the demon snake roared in its mouth. Angry eyes stared fixedly at Su Mu, and in the next moment, the green venom began to condense in his open and bloody mouth. Looking at the venom in the other person's mouth, Su Mu's expression also became serious. Shoo! With a sudden step, the figure quickly flew backwards, widening the distance. Bang! At the next moment, the green highly toxic corrosive acid will be sprayed out. The place where Su Mu fought just now, corroded by acid, has directly turned into a huge pit emitting green smoke. Such corrosive venom, Su Mu is not the same guy as Coco. If this gets sprayed onto the body, it's likely to cause serious injuries even if it doesn't die. However, this kind of venom attack must be controlled. Otherwise, it's not difficult to dodge. Shoo! Thinking in my heart, Su Mu's figure rushed up quickly again. The strength of the demon snake's body is definitely greater than those delicacies captured by Su Mu before. To kill the opponent, you need stronger strength. Bang! 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 For a moment, with Su Mu's sprint, the tentacles of the demon snake returned to normal and attacked Su Mu. Under tentacle attacks, they were all blocked by Su Mu. The bodies of the two constantly clashed in this cave. The raging energy that erupted caused the rocks around the cave to continuously fall down. Tina, who was standing behind and recording this scene with a camera, couldn't help but shine brightly as she watched the battle like Su Mu. In the world of cuisine, Su Mu is such a powerful presence. Wherever it is loved by others. Bang! Under Tina's record, in the battlefield at this moment. As Su Mu turned his hand into a knife, he once again cut off the tentacles of the demon snake. The intense pain once again swept through the body of the demon snake. Roar! Under the roar of the demon snake, it was now roaring ferociously. A huge body, spinning in the void, directly facing Su Mu, biting down with its bloody jaws open. Well done. Su Mu, who had been waiting for the opportunity, couldn't help but shine as he watched the corrosive venom condensed from the mouth of the demon snake. At this moment, it is the slowest time for the devil snake to move. Shoo! Suddenly, at this moment, Sumu not only did not retreat, but also quickly approached. Boom! In the surrounding void, a dark and gluttonous aura permeates. The void behind me has condensed a blurry gluttonous phantom. The gourmet demon of Sumo reappeared, and its violent power was concentrated in one punch. In the next moment, the right fist, which had gathered all its strength, hit the demon snake's body directly under his frightened gaze. Break it! With a loud shout, in an instant, a violent force erupted on Sumu's right fist. Bang! Just heard a muffled sound, and in the next moment, the body of the demon snake suddenly sank down. Ow! The corrosive venom condensed in the mouth, before it even spurted out, was accompanied by a mournful cry. In the next moment, the massive body, under the power of Sumu's right fist, flew backwards tightly. Boom! In an instant, my body was heavily smashed onto the rock behind me. A burst of flying sand and rocks, filled with smoke and dust, put an end to the vitality of the demon snake with a punch from Sumu. Tina, who had fully recorded this scene from behind, couldn't help but look shocked as she watched the battle end. Hiss, is this Sumu's strength? Killed the demon snake in one punch. This strength is really amazing. Holding a camera in her hand, Tina was shooting at Sumu for a while. At this moment, Sumu's figure moved and came to the body of the demon snake. Shoo! With the fall of the hand knife, the body of the demon snake directly transformed into exquisite snake flesh. Capture delicious snake meat at level 21, even if it is unprocessed, it still flows with sweet juice. Sumo was not in a hurry, but took advantage of the smoke and dust to put all the snake meat of the demon snake into the storage space. These snake meat are all energy supplements. When the time comes, let that guy with loose nose and eyes help with cooking. Let's go. After dealing with the demon snake, the next moment, Sumu's figure moved and came to Tina's side. Under a burst of exclamation from the other party, Sumu immediately grabbed their small waist and quickly headed towards the depths of the cave. I had a fierce battle with the demon snake just now, which also delayed a lot of time. Sumu doesn't want to miss the opportunity to capture pufferfish whales. The figure was moving rapidly, while Tina, who was being held by Sumu at the moment, had a slightly rosy face. With her cheeks pressed against Sumu's chest, Tina couldn't help but feel a passionate expression once again as she felt the strong and fierce aura spreading over her face. Sumu's figure was moving rapidly, and this time it was much smoother. The demon serpent is not everywhere in this cave. Not long after, Sumu arrived at the cave beach. Oh, am I the first to come? Seeing that there was no trace of Lu, Nose and Eyes Song, and others at this moment, Sumu couldn't help but faint doubt in his mouth. This is a bit unexpected. And just as Sumu stepped onto the beach, the sound of mechanical prompts rang out in his mind at the right time. Didi, we have detected a check.in location. Cave Beach. Should we proceed with check.in? Today's guaranteed 5th shift has ended, with 2,000 flowers in one shift, so we will continue to add another chapter later tonight.